Wood-turned eggs are a good seller at my gallery and market stall. I usually make them in batches of around 30. Here's how I go about it. First, I get a variety of contrasty timbers together. This time it's Banksia, Silky Oak, Grevillea, Jarrah, Apricot, Red Gum, Huon Pine and a small piece of walnut. The blanks are cut into about 1 3/4 inch or 45mm square stock. I have a specially made egg template that I can use for this measurement. Once the blanks are cut, I use my centre finder to mark the centres of the blanks. I can only turn 3 or 4 eggs out of a single length, so I cut the long blanks into shorter ones. This is a piece of Silky Oak which has a very porous grain. I use my template to mark out lengths and then use the parting tool to mark the eggs. The soft Silky Oak cuts easily with the curved skew. Then I refine the curve using a straight edge skew on its side like a scraper. This doesn't leave a wonderful finish on this open grain timber, so I start my sanding with 100 grit. And since this is a production item, I'm just trying to produce them as quickly as possible. In a short space of time, I have the roughed out eggs finished. On this occasion, I tried to give them a coat or two of shellac while they were still on the lathe. Other times, I leave the finishing till last. As it turned out, I think the latter option's better, as it took a long time to match the finish of the ends of the eggs with the body when I did it this way. After separating the roughed out eggs on the bandsaw, I finished the end shapes with a coarse sand and then smooth them off, firstly with 150 grit and finally 240. A final hand sanding with 240 or 320 grit finishes the job, and I can give them a final few coats of shellac and a polish with a little linseed oil so they have a nice sheen. I've tried numerous ways to try and speed up the sanding of the ends. This time I tried some curved sanders cut from an old ice cream carton. I've also used this device which I turned up one time, which holds the eggs while sanding. You can even mount it in the lathe if you're brave, but there's a danger of flying eggs. Here I'm using a floppy-backed sanding disc in the lathe, which also works quite well, but at the end of the day you can't beat hand sanding to do the best job. Here's the result of this batch on display.